prophet Habakkuk. Habakkuk prayed fervently, his cries echoing with distress over the condition of his nation, which was in danger due to its rebellion against God. He questioned why the Lord was taking so long to answer. He questioned why God did not rescue his people from violence. He grappled with understanding why God appeared to allow evil and wickedness, injustice and oppression, destruction and violence, strife and conflict, and pain and suffering. Corruption permeated the nation, from the highest echelons of government to the lowest levels of society. Leaders were driven by greed, exploiting their positions of power. Priests and ministers prioritized wealth over the true teachings of God's word. It was evident that the people had drifted so far from God's word that it no longer influenced their way of life. The courts and judicial system were riddled with corruption, as judges accepted bribes and officials demanded payoffs. God revealed his plans to Habakkuk, showing that his plans were already at work in the world. The Lord would bring forth an incredible display of justice and judgment on the nations, something unimaginable and astounding, causing wonder and amazement. Habakkuk and the people needed to wait and observe, to be alert and watch for what the Lord was about to do. God was raising up a strong and ruthless nation, the Chaldeans, to serve as his agent of judgment, his instrument of punishment and correction. God described the Chaldeans as ruthless and would conquer the world because of their ruthlessness and brutality. They would be known as a feared and dreaded people. They would act with complete autonomy, as if above the law. They were besieged by a swift, fierce, and ravenous army intent on violence, and taking prisoners and dispersing them to many of their captured locations. They would mock kings and rulers, effortlessly capturing their fortified cities. The timing of God's response to Habakkuk and his instruction to write down the vision clearly is uncertain. God cautioned Habakkuk to be patient and wait, because God's timing and his are not the same. Even though God revealed his plan, the fulfillment of it is in his timing and not their anticipation. God tells Habakkuk that the just live by faith, which is the opposite of proudful people. Faith entails more than just believing in God. It requires steadfast commitment and reliability. The righteous trust God continuously, depending on him for strength and provision daily. Their trust is shown through obedience to God's teachings, reflecting both outward actions and inner stability. Ultimately, their deep trust and reliance on God make them resilient, unwavering, and strong. Even though God used the Chaldeans as his instrument of judgment on Judah, that didn't mean that they would be exempt from his judgment upon them. The Chaldeans who plundered nations would themselves be plundered by the nations they had defeated. The empire they had built with stolen materials from the nations they conquered, and the wickedness and violence of slave labor would be destroyed. Habakkuk, after hearing God's response, then begins his prayer in Shigionoth, a psalm to be sung with musical instruments. Habakuk, within his prayer of praise of God coming, asked for a fresh outpouring of his presence to save his people and to remember his mercy during his judgment. Habakkuk acknowledged that he would trust the Lord even during utter devastation. This beautiful prayer of Habakkuk was probably sung within those just people amid God's executed judgment of Judah to provide strength, encouragement, and hope for their deliverance.